Oh,
That was
son of a dingus.
Cliff Jumper, commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Hello and welcome to the 28th episode of ToyCast, sponsored by BigBadToyStore.com, where as of right now you can save from 20-90% on over 1,000 items. I am your host, TFG Mike, and joining me is PecanCtMichael. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
And making a return from, I don't know what the last episode he was on, is Lupis Convoy from TFW.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
It's going. How are you guys?
Good.
Surviving.
Survive. Yes.
Every other college student will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Finals and Christmas break, and yeah, it's almost there. You only got one more week.
Woohoo!
So what have you been up to, Lupus, since we last talked to you?
That's pretty much it. School and work. I have a sadistic, evil biology teacher and a English teacher that is on a power trip because he's the head of the department.
That sucks.
Yes,
I hate it when that happens. Yeah.
One that will publicly insult students left and right, and it's great.
Nice.
I mean, everyone's had to have had that teacher once where they absolutely hate their career because they have to deal with the entry-level students.
Yeah.
And they're
Right.
really bad writing. The ones that lost their passion for their craft.
You know what the first thing that pops into my head now that you're describing this is the business professor Tom Cruise had in Cocktail, where he eventually tells him off.
Oh, I wish I could do that. But I'm going to be good.
I had an anatomy and physiology teacher in college whose goal, it seemed, was to flunk half the class by midterm. So half the class should be dropped and gone by the midterm. And at that point, he's like, okay, anyone else who's still with me, you know, you're good. We'll try to keep you around. But he like left it up to himself to weed everybody out of the medical program.
Wow,
that sounds pretty much like my professor. She flunked out half of the students already, and one of them, on our last lab practical, the first girl passed in her grade, and she said, you know, you don't even have to wait for me to grade it. You already know you're failing.
God.
Yeah, it's...
Nice.
I'm like, wow, this is a community college. It shouldn't be this tough.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, the way I see it, I can justify it because you don't want crappy doctors. I mean, you don't even want crappy nurses.
You want people that know their stuff backwards and forwards.
Exactly. I mean, and if you have to rely upon the teaching staff to weed out the idiots who are gonna, you know, bring malpractice lawsuits down on whoever they work for or themselves, then so be it.
I just think it's excessive when you've got people on their fourth and fifth try through the class.
Yeah. I had to take it twice. And subsequently didn't become a doctor. So
he became a Transformers collector.
Yeah, exactly. No,
So
I collect Transformers. Yeah,
Now we can do surgeries on robots.
exactly. Not quite qualified for that, but yeah.
Before we get into the actual toy discussion, besides the fact that we enjoy having Lupus on from TFW, one of the main reasons why you're on this episode is because Mr. Wilson over there had said that he wanted to work with you at some point or another because you're the only person from the TFW podcast that actually talks to him on Twitter.
I'm a Twitter whore.
Yeah, he's not a snob. You can vouch for him.
Also, I wanted to give you guys an option to... I've already talked about it. I talked about it in the episode that was just released, but we had a bunch of news come out I think I'm going to wait until Sunday to post this episode of ToyCast. We had a bunch of news come out this week about Transformers. Michael Bell has gone into audition for the new cartoon. I know for a fact that David Kay has read everything about the new cartoon. He actually, before this news even popped out, we were trying to keep the interview of David Kay a secret, but now that this news has popped out, he actually spilled to us. I made a comment to him that Susan Blue was the longest person to ever be attached to the Transformers, and he said she still will be. He kind of like just blurted that out during our interview. I'm like, oh really? That's like a new cartoon.
Oh,
She's only been Transformers.
Yeah, she's been casting director on pretty much everything.
Yeah, Beast Wars,
Transformers related.
Yeah, animated. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, the other news is, what is it called? Transformers War of Cybertron is going to be the new game.
Oh, and the graphics look awesome.
Yes, they do.
Well, that's got to be concept art. I don't think that's going to end up being the end graphics.
Even if it is concept art, it's good concept art.
Yeah, it does look good. I mean, remind you, I think I might have preferred them to go ahead and use Don Figueroa's War Within designs. But, I mean, I can understand that there's trademark and copyright and such involved there. They couldn't step on any toes, so they went with something that looked very, very close.
I think my only complaint about the images, and again, you guys, the listeners can go over to tfw2005.com to find all these news items. I think my main complaint about the images was the Megatron alt mode. It's just a regular run-of-the-mill tank. But I do like his gun in robot mode.
It looks like a big scope. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like the Super. What was that thing called for the Super Nintendo? The Super Scope 6.
Scope 6.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to since Lupis told me that he's part of Group 2 and really doesn't get to talk about any of the news as it comes out, like when it first comes out.
For this week? Oh no, but wow. I mean, now, am I correct in thinking this is the same group that did the Armada video game for the PS2?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. From what I've read so far, and again, I've only read it on TFW. I haven't gone that deep into it, but it looks like it was the same group who did the movie games.
Okay.
I don't. That's in Activision. I don't think Activision did the Armada game.
No, the Armada game was Atari.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Which even so, even if it's going off of the movie games, it still looks awesome in design. I mean, in concept.
In concept.
Whether that's what the final product is or not, I love that Soundwave. That Soundwave image is just awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that picture of Prime with the axe that's almost as wide as he is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, bam. It's not even one that he's got coming out of his hand. It's one he's actually holding onto, too.
And some Transformers animated overtones there.
Yes. Well, to borrow a phrase from Green Lantern in Justice League, and you can kiss my axe. So what's been going on with you, Mr. Pecan Court over there?
Well, you read my blog post, so...
Finished. Called me right
Finished?
in the middle of it, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah, basically, I took my wife up into Michigan, and we did a tour of the Southwest Michigan wine country.
Ooh.
Very cool.
And that was nice. Yeah, we hit 6 or 7 wineries, and came home with like 3 cases of wine. And, I was just enjoying a glass of Tabor Hill Classic Demi-Sec before the podcast. So, good stuff.
Damn, I was hoping he was going to break his record for not being drunk on a show, but no.
Well, it's every time we start a podcast with Mike, it becomes the Michael Blanchard drinking game.
No, it doesn't.
So anytime Michael says, I don't know, then you take a shot. So, I keep the Grey Goose here.
Just in case?
Just in case. Because he's going to say, I don't know, and take a shot. I will be hammered by the end of every podcast.
I remember the very first episode I had you on, episode 14. It was one where episode 14 of TFT1 podcast, you had said, like, oh, wait, yeah, I was supposed to hang out with you tonight. I completely forgot. Went upstairs and drank a whole bottle of wine with my blah, 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 blah. I was drunk through, like, the first 25 minutes of that podcast and finally sobered up.
Well, occasionally my wife and I will have a glass of wine while we watch TV, you know? And sometimes it leads to 2 and 3, and sometimes we finish the bottle.
Which, you know, it's not a bad thing. I just like ribbing you about it.
Yeah. But, you know, given the fact that we like our wine, you know, the trip out on the wine trail was really nice. I mean, we had a tour guide who took us out in a SUV, so we didn't have to drive.
Yeah.
You know, and all these places give free tastings.
Yeah.
It was really nice. We had a good time.
What of any further adventures of Aiden and Gavin this week?
Yes and no. You know, I mean, they're both growing and getting bigger, and Aiden is talking a lot more, and he's saying some outrageous things that, you know, I mean, the other day, Chrissy's sister was over, and she says, "Holy shit!" And, you know, from behind the couch, we hear, "Holy shit!" It's like, oh, man. I just look at her, you know, Auntie Katie, look at her like, oh, what the hell? Seriously. You know, you gotta watch what you say around these little kids. You know, and Gavin wants to do everything Aiden does. I mean, at least he can't say holy shit.
Yeah, right. I'm still waiting for the day that Aiden manages to break into the coveted cabinet of your...
You know, I'm not so much worried about them getting into the cabinets. I mean, they're oak and plexiglass, and they have steel locks on them. There's no way they can get in. The problem is I have huge stacks of unopened toys in my office. I mean, like, you know, stacks that are taller than me in some cases. And I'm afraid that they're going to look at that and say, or at least one of them, God forbid the one on the bottom, and say, hey, I think I'd like to open this one. They haven't yet, but, you know, I'm worried about that.
Have an episode where you just basically go through your entire office or whatever the nearest pile is, and we just list your unopened toys. Because you have, like, you buy all these toys because you're a completionist, and then you never open them.
Well, the idea there, initially the idea was that I wanted to open them, and I wanted to put them all on my shelves. And now my shelves are full. And we're talking, you know, 14 feet, 6 foot tall shelves, 2 feet deep. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous that I have all this stuff, and I'm running out of room. I have one shelf open, but I've got way too many box toys to fit in there.
Well, you could start selling them on eBay if you don't want the toys.
You know, I'm tempted to. I mean, I have just a whole bunch of those Star Wars crossovers that I don't want. You know, but you can't sell those to save your own life. You know, I've got a whole bunch of, I want to say like the alternators I want to keep, and I got a bunch of those that would, if I got rid of them, that would free me up as a shelf. What was the old robots in the skies? I've got a whole shelf of those I could free up if I got rid of them. But I just, you know, I'm a completionist. I feel bad if I parted with him. but no, I actually looked on eBay to see if I could sell my Toys R Us reissues, because I have got like 20 of them, and you know, apparently nobody's buying them.
Which reissues?
You know, the ones that the G1 toys they reissued in the book cover boxes.
Oh, well, depending on which ones you have, I may want some of them over the next couple of months. If you really want to, you know, I mean, we can talk about that later. But I mean, if you really want to get rid of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just going to sell them all on eBay,
yeah.
and I looked, and none of them were selling, and the only one that I sold off was Ultra Magnus. And you know, the rest of them are still sitting in my closet, taking up space. I've got, oh man, just boxes and boxes of, what were those little cars called?
The Spy Changers?
The Spy Changers, yeah. I've got buttloads of them Spy Changers. Just because I bought the clear ones, I bought the different color ones, I bought the 2-packs and the single packs, and I've got just a whole crate of them. And then I've got probably 2 more boxes full of, you know, Japanese Beast Wars.
Wow.
That that wasn't too long ago. Big Bad Toy Store was selling them off at $4 each, like the iguanas, things like that.
Oh.
And I got a bunch of those, and it's like they're gonna sit in the closet. They haven't even made it out to the shelves because there's just no room for them. I don't have any room in my closet now. Like I said, I got all these toys stacked up in my room because I can't put them in a closet. And my wife has no pity. Yeah, she doesn't care. She's like, you have a lot of room in your room. Find somewhere to put them. So I don't know. I just got way too much crap is what it comes down to, and eventually I'm going to have to put a stop to it.
You're going to have to start hanging them off the ceiling or something.
Like models, yeah.
That's what I used to do with all the Flying Beast Wars figures when I was living in California. Sky Shadow, things like that. I got really thin fishing wire or fishing line and did this whole matrix and had this whole aerial scene going on.
That's what I need to do is put like Primus and Unicron up on the ceiling. Yeah, let them hang there and forever do battle above my head.
Well, then you're also going to have to throw in like the Death Star, Vader, and
yeah. Well, see, it's sad too because it's like I've got a Primus and I've got a Unicron in the shelf in the tall toy shelf next to Fort Max, but then in the closet is another Primus.
Black one? Oh.
Yeah, I've got a black Unicron, but I've also got a Primus with with the Unicron head.
Yep.
So I've got the one with the head still in the box. The one without the head is in the shelf, on the shelf, I should say. And then Vader is in the closet too, still in the box. And that's a lot of room. They just, these are huge boxes.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well,
anyway, so you don't want to hear about me bitching and whining about not having enough room for toys.
Well, for me, it's very, very interesting beginning to December. Excuse me. Sorry. The only way I could get a good enough deal on the two Mighty Mugs that I did not have yet outside of the Wave 3 ones, the Starscream and the Grimlock, was for me to buy the Wave 2 Starscream, Grimlock, Optimus, and Bumblebee case from Big Bad Toy Store. So I bought those, and I already have an Optimus and Bumblebee, as the listeners will know, as I've talked about them before. So I basically just got this for Starscream and Grimlock. Well, I no longer have to bug you, Mr. Wilson, about your unopened Leader Class Megatron from Animated because
Yay.
Shut up. I made a deal with Thorzine from the TFW boards, and he actually was on the Hackers commentary with me for M-Wire. I'm trading those two unopened Mighty Mugs and the Universe 2.0 Starscream to him for Leader Class Megatron. Unfortunately, the Universe Starscream won't be here until Saturday, which is the day after that this will be released, so I will have gotten it by the time this episode goes up. But, I've gotten those. I actually, when I noticed a link on Cybertron.com for there was an eBay auction for the Wave 3 Mighty Mugs, and I debated and tried to, back and forth, and I said, screw it, I'm just going to get it. And I got it, and they're on their way. They're actually right now being held up in customs out in California for all places. Arnold Schwarzenegger is holding my Transformers hostage, damn it.
Personally.
I hope.
I'm trying to save your mail. Down.
He's playing with them on his desk right now.
Bastard.
That's a really scary mental image.
Yeah, a bulked up version of Darth Helmet. But my Mighty Mugs collecting, as far as Transformers, unless they release more, are complete. I will be getting Shockwave and Jazz, and Movie Optimus and Movie Bumblebee, which I'll probably trade or sell, or most likely trade. Because I don't want those. So now that I've actually gone back and thought about it, there are 4 Autobots and 4 Decepticons for the Mighty Mugs for G1. So it's a 4-on-4 battle.
There you go.
Yep. So that's what's been going on with me. Not really too much else. You, Mr. Wilson, myself, and Steve Megatron will be starting up the Beast Unleashed podcast, our 22-episode review show of Beast Wars and Beast Machines. That will be released this Saturday, again, a day before this show goes out. Steve and I had the awesome opportunity to interview David Kay. And I've told this story before. It's an idea that I had. I wanted to do, I've only known Steve, almost a year now. But I wanted to do something really special for his birthday, and he does an impression of Beast Wars Megatron. So I'm like, alright, cool. If I can somehow find a way to contact David Kay and get an interview with him, and we had talked back and forth about doing a Beast review series after TFG1, and it took me 6 months to nail down the details and actually get to be able to talk to Mr. K. So yeah, I got that for Steve, and that will be out Saturday as well. Actually, it's very funny. Saturday, December 12th, 2009, is the 1-year anniversary since TFG1 aired. TFG1 podcast started December 12th of last year, so it's very ironic and funny that we are starting the Beast Wars series 1 year later.
I find it impressive, let's say, that a year after your podcasting debut, you're doing interviews with David Kay, and
Annie, Stan,
saying a lot.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my ultimate, the one thing I want to do before I die is to be able to interview Peter Cullen. That would just be my ultimate thing for me.
We just have to track him down at BotCon, hold him hostage.
Yeah.
Yes, because I've heard from some media sources that I have in the industry that his agent is a complete dickhead.
Ouch.
That's what I've heard. It's just a rumor, but that's just what I've heard.
Well, the agent is essentially the gatekeeper.
Yes,
and it's his job to keep schmo podcasters from knocking on Peter's door and saying, "Can you say, I don't know,
form and roll out."
Exactly. Yeah. Say, sentience is the right of all, free beings and freedom beings.
Say, give me your face.
Give me your face. Give me your face.
You're not. ToyCast does not sponsor the "Give Me Your Face" hashtag on Twitter at all.
How many times? Yeah, exactly. I wonder how many times he's been asked to say that.
Yes.
Probably none, because he's got the dickhead agent that weeds all them out. But.
No.
Yeah, but the dickhead agent might also be going, "What's a podcast?"
Exactly. I could have sworn. Now you guys can correct me because I'm not really sure. I just spent this past week. I spent 48 hours watching all 3 seasons of Beast Wars because I had never actually seen the show. I caught episodes when it was first released, but it was I was out of my Transformers phase at that point in my life. So I watched all 3 seasons back to back, and I thought it was Gary Chalk's Primal that started the sentient beings thing. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings, because he says it in the show.
Well, he says it.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's an homage, because freedom is the right of all sentient beings is the motto that was on Optimus Prime's file card in 1984.
Oh, okay.
But he never actually said it in any way, shape, or form until
exactly right. It's attributed to him, though.
Okay, no, that's fine. I didn't know. That's good to know. So at least I'm not talking out of my ass. Which I tend to do sometimes. As we all know.
I'll keep you honest.
I seriously doubt that, Mr. Target Toy Stealer.
What? Didn't steal anything.
What?
Still, he did a...
Oh, God, you make it sound so bad.
It's not bad. I think it's just funny.
No, what happened is Target had refused to restock the shelves because they were... I think they were waiting for their inventory to be over with, but it took 3 months to restock. And when they finally did, they wheeled out this, pallet of 20 boxes. And I'm walking down the aisle and I see all these boxes that are labeled Transformers, and I look around and there's nobody looking at me, so I just start tearing them open.
It's on the floor.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, you know what? And somebody caught me and said, you're not supposed to be opening these boxes. And I said, but I did. and look what I found. And she's looking at me like, so what? And I said, well, can I keep them? And she's like, well, if you already pulled them out, go ahead. So I walked out of there.
Unless they have to put on the peg.
Exactly. Yeah, I was doing them a favor. So yeah, I mean, and I wrote up a blog post about that because I thought it was hilarious, and I came home with all these Transformers, and Mike makes it sound like I dressed up in ninja garb and snuck into the back room and gutted a couple of hapless Target workers with a sword or something on my way to steal 18 cases of Transformer boxes out the back door.
No.
Is it sad that I can see you do the whole Mission Impossible 1 Tom Cruise thing?
From the ceiling, dropping from an air vent, That's right.
Crap, I can't get the boxes through the air vent.
I mean, I honestly, you and I have ribbed on each other about a lot of stuff, and that's just along with your drunkenness half the time. Like on you about, because when I read the blog post, I hadn't even talked to you yet. It was like you were just some random follower on Twitter that I don't know if you followed me first or blah blah blah, vice versa. But I read this post and I'm like, oh my god, he did not go to Target and just randomly open boxes for Transformers, for Christ's sake, and it just made me laugh so much. It's actually probably my favorite blog post of anything that I've ever read online.
Well, thanks. But you know what? It wasn't just any Transformer. It was Transformers Animated, Blur, and Swindle. It
wasn't just Blur and Swindle. It was Blur, Swindle, Waspinator, God knows how.
Samurai Prowl.
Yeah, Samurai Prowl probably.
Yeah, I think I went home with like 10 of them.
Yeah.
The only ones I didn't get were the Robot Heroes, and I wasn't sure if I wanted those at the time. But
yes. So we are going to take a quick break, and then we will come back with the toy discussion.
Try this one, Spike. Now you see me? Now you don't.
Hey, where'd Mirage go?
Over here!
Disappearing. It's the best disguise of all.
We are back, and it is time for the toy discussion, and Mr. Wilson is going to go first. What will you be talking about this episode, sir?
I think I will be talking about G1 Mirage.
Mm-hmm.
And I have him here.
Yes.
And, he's shiny. Actually, when you get him in the light here, he's actually very pretty. Pretty in a good way. He's got a nice deco kind of way. Little dusty. He's been on my shelf for a long time. But all of his stickers are in very good shape. It's very easy to find, these old G1 figures from '84 that are, say, naked. He'll have his, this, I don't know how to pronounce it, Citanes? Citanes? It's got Citanes on the side, and it's painted on there, but, like the majority of these older ones, all of the details are all stickers.
Mm-hmm.
And they tend to come off after a bit. So, it's nice when you find one that actually has all of his stickers. Basically he transforms into a Formula One racer. The original one came from the Diaclone line and was then brought into the Hasbro line in '84. And then I want to say that he was reissued once or twice in Japan.
Oh.
But one of the things that I want to say one of the most recognizable things about him is the way his face looks. He's actually got kind of an oval, semi-oval head with the vents on either side.
Yep.
And every time they create a new Mirage homage, I want to say with the exception of like the Machine Wars ones, they always try to go back to that same head with the flared out side of the head venting. Not sure what you would call that. side of head venting.
It would be side of head venting.
There you go. All right. But yeah, so I mean, the way he transforms is he actually swivels at the waist, so the whole bottom half spins around and becomes his feet. And I've seen so many of these broken in half at like bins at BotCon because the waist joint gives out, and he just breaks in half. That's a shame because I mean this is actually a nice figure. I don't want to say that he's a brick because I know how much you hate that, but for the most part, his legs don't separate. His arms, they have elbows, which is a step above some of the other ones from the same era. But other than that, his he only moves at the shoulders, and his wrists rotate, and that's about all the articulation you're going to get out of this guy.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that G1 toys, they weren't made for articulation for the most part. And just looking at his picture, I mean, the alt mode does not look like a brick. It looks like a very sleek Formula One racing car. You can argue the fact that the legs, if the legs don't come apart, yeah, it could.
They don't. No.
Okay, well, okay.
They kind of jam up into the rest. So, I mean, if that joint were to go, which I think mine did on like my Prowl and some of those other ones, that he would always be short, but you kind of pull him up and he stands up straight. So at least he's got thighs, but the bottom parts of his legs don't actually separate. They look like they want to.
I like the fact that they put his...
Oh, they do. Holy cow. They do. They pull apart. I've never done that before.
The legs do?
They do, yeah. They're everything from like the knees down is still one assembly, but the blue plastic comes out and away from the assembly pieces. So his legs separate, but I mean they're still attached together.
Oh, okay.
So it's very much like the G1 Jazz figure, how it pulls apart, but they're still... Yeah, I had the same type of deal where I've been playing with Jazz for years, and suddenly, oh wow, the legs actually separate.
Yeah, it's not one big chunk; they actually pull apart. Yeah, it's still one piece. They're still attached together, but they slide apart. So that's kind of nice. I didn't know that. Well, you learn something new. Yeah. But that's kind of cool.
I like how now, of course, we all know the toys came out before the cartoon, but I'm always all for our cartoon accuracy, and I like how the toy mirrors the cartoon with the fact that they have his little his rocket on his right shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, that always bothered me because I know the rocket was like, well, it's huge, it's long, and on the cartoon it's like this little stubby thing that's kind of tucked over behind his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was nice that they included it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's I don't want to say iconic, but recognizable parts of Mirage, and it's always going to be his shoulder-mounted rocket. Which I just fired at myself. It still shoots. Holy cow! And as I said, the venting on the sides of his head, and his gun. He's got this long rifle, and every time I see another Mirage, they tend to mimic that long rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least they call it the same thing. But yeah, so I mean, I dig it. It's again hard to find in really good shape. Really hard to find with all of his stickers.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to have this one because he's in such fine shape. He's even got the little dancing girl gypsy sticker on the side here of his, well, it's on the side of his waist, which is hard to find. Chest stickers, wrist stickers. He's got the Ligier and the Autobot symbol on the back of his head, which you can normally only see in vehicle mode.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean, he's got everything he's supposed to have, which is, like I said, pretty rare. I'm digging this one. I'd recommend him to anybody who collects 1984 Transformers.
Hmm. And Lupus, who are you going to be talking about?
Well, I am going to be covering Classics Mirage.
Yes.
So, it's the same character in continuity-wise.
Yeah.
And it's very much like the original G1. It's got the Formula 1 racer. It's got decals all over the place, or stickers. And he's got his little rifle, but unlike the G1, this thing was built for articulation. He's got 2 elbow joints in each arm, a wrist joint, double jointed neck, double ball jointed actually. And then his legs are awesome. They've got like 2 parts to the, what would be the fibula area of a leg, the lower part. He's got 2 joints in there, so you can create this massive, like, complete kickback or double pose for the leg. What I really did like is that they took the concept that they used of the G1 figure had with the spoiler becoming the toes, the bottom of the feet, and putting it as a sliding joint as well as a ball joint, so you can totally flex them all over the place. So you've got what seems to be like an ankle joint as well.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And he's very, very shiny, very blue and white, and very nice. There's lots of little throwbacks in the paint scheme. You've got the classic G1 color scheme, but you've also got the number 26 from the original release. You've got on the spoiler a big old sign that says Witwicky Spark Plugs.
Mm-hmm.
So G1 fans would get a kick out of that. As well as his front spoiler, which also becomes his gun. It has Lithonian drivetrain, which Lithon being the planet from the beginning of the 86 movie. Honestly, I would give this figure a 9 out of 10. There's so many different articulations to him, and there's so much play value in him.
Yeah.
There's little things that I didn't expect, like his gun can be stored in his chest to give him what looks like a very feminine hip. But it can also pop off and slide into a slot in the back, so it's like a back holster.
Oh, okay.
He's definitely one of the gems out of the classics line. And, you don't have to get it in this color. It also came out in...
Turquoise.
And what was that?
Turquoise or teal.
Well, it also came out in 2 different repaints that were widely available. What was it? The Crasher repaint from 07?
I forgot about Crasher, yeah.
Actually, her name's Fracture, I think, but
yeah.
still,
It's a sharp toy.
Nice nod. It's awesome.
Yeah.
The figure looks great in black. I did a custom of that to make Breast Force member, which one was it? Jaruga or Jaguar, which came out pretty decent. But and there's also the special edition classics that came out on the Hasbro website. Which one was it? Dragstrip?
Oh, yeah. I've got that one.
Yeah.
He's pretty.
He is. This figure just kind of leans itself towards the concept of a combiner piece. Because if you the way it's set up with the end spoiler, if you take it in car mode and you just flatten out the spoiler, it makes a perfect foot. Yeah.
The downside with the drag strip, though, is that he doesn't have, all of the, I don't want to say the decals, but, the Witwicky spark plugs and
the nice
drivetrain.
little throwbacks.
Yeah, he's missing all of those. But, they did a really good job on his paint job.
Definitely.
He's just very sharp. He's all yellow with red highlights, and, you throw some various colors of blue in there and silver. He's a really nice toy. Oh, no, that's purple. Purples and blues. I actually had to open up the box. The packaging for these is amazing. It's it's kind of like those the Japanese reissues where you open up the cover and they're kind of inside the book, inside the cover of the book, let's say. encased in plastic. But yeah, the drag strip was really nice. Another thing I like about this particular figure, again, is the homage back to the G1 Mirage, where the feet are the spoilers, and the wheels, the front wheels, I should say. The rear wheels are part of the feet, they're part of the ankle, and the front wheels are pitched back behind the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, so very sharp. And the only downside, I would say, is that he didn't have the
shoulder cannon.
rocket. Yeah. Now, I think you can get an add-on pack for these.
Yeah. Was
I
it
don't know.
TFC, I think?
Yeah, I didn't buy that one. But I think they wanted something like $50 for a set of 4 guns or something for the Classics line, and I just couldn't justify it.
Yeah. But there's... Which one was it? Oh, God, my brain's not functioning tonight.
I hate it when that happens.
The G... Yeah, well, I mean, it's worse for me when it's my brain, but... the G3 trailer, I believe, also comes with add-on weapons that's stored inside of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I remember this wasn't... I want to say there was a kit that was supposed to come with, 3 weapons, and one of them
crane.
was... the cassette crane, or the cassette with the...
Yep, and I think it had the crane for Inferno.
Yeah, that same set. I don't really know what happened with that. As far as I know, maybe it hasn't come out yet.
Oh, it's come out. Vangelis has been trying to sell off his extra pieces for a while.
Oh, yeah. I just couldn't justify $50 on that, or however much it cost. I remember it being expensive.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Classics Mirage here on TF Wiki, and like the alt mode, I'm not too crazy on the robot mode, and it's actually very funny. Some of the wiki taglines for some of the pictures are very funny. The one for the Classic says, "Applied to rival tech club, rejected," which kind of goes in line with what you were saying earlier, that he's got a ton of articulation. And his head is on a ball joint and all that other stuff, because that's what a lot of the rival tech stuff is on.
Yeah, it's actually a double ball joint. It's like there's for lack of a better term, a long bone. I mean, it's just this rod with two ball joints. One goes into the actual neck crevice, and then the other one goes into the head, so you can move the head forward or backwards and still rotate it.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, honestly, there's a reason why Reveltech figures don't transform. If you gave double ball joints to every piece of Mirage, you'd never get them back in the vehicle mode.
True.
I mean, they're made with I want to say hinge joints in certain places and swivel joints in other places, specifically so that you can get him back into something that will hold its shape as a car. But given that, as a starting point, he's really, really posable. You can do all sorts of cool things with him.
I've done plenty of handstands with him, actually.
Yeah.
Or martial arts, like high kicks and ass kicks and things like that.
Yeah, and I think they did a really good job with the articulation on all of the Classics line, but this one in particular, really good.
It blows everything out of the AEC out of the way. Like, it just blows it out of the water. I mean, if you put this next to some of the other figures that got repainted in Classics, it definitely makes it stand out a lot more, for lack of a better term, I guess.
Oh, did you include the BotCon exclusive?
I did not. That would be number 4.
Yeah, they repainted him in... Yeah, it wasn't even a repaint. It was just cleared blue plastic, which I thought was a bit of a cop-out.
Well, if it was completely clear, like white, or like clear, but I was really happy when I got that.
Really? I mean, he's blue. But I mean, I could understand it if they had left the paint on him and maybe put the stickers on over it, so that so that you could get the impression that he was transparent, but that he wasn't actually transparent.
I'll be honest, I have a weakness for clear plastic.
Oh.
I'm one of the few people that is very excited in owning the clear protoform figures from the first movie. Those are kind of like the highlights of my collection. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad when it comes to my clear plastic toys.
I really liked the clear alternators Mirage. That wasn't even alternator. It was the Japanese version.
But Altec?
They released a clear one.
Yes.
And it was sharp, because he still had the stripes, and you could he still had his paint, and you could see him still being Mirage, but he was just see through.
Yep.
And I really dig
wish
that.
I got that.
Oh, I didn't get that one. I think they released a clear one for the red repaint. I think that was Rodimus.
Ooh.
They're Rodimus.
If there's one person that would know that would be the GD Proto Man.
Yeah, he'd know.
So are we done with Classics Mirage?
Yeah, he's still relatively easy to find on eBay. It shouldn't cost too much if you are interested in picking one up. So check it out if you get the opportunity.
Yes. And for my pick, going once again back to Muddy Mugs, since I'm on this big Muddy Mugs kick, and I must have all of the Transformers Muddy Mugs, which hopefully by the time this episode airs, I will have my Wave 3 case. In the last episode, I talked about Grimlock, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about Starscream. Now, first of all, I like Starscream in the G1 cartoon.
Okay, must have been you.
What, huh?
Did you say something? I think you blanked out there for a second. I think you blanked out there for a second.
Oh, did I? What was the last thing you heard? What was the last thing you heard?
That, actually, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
It came through fine, and it sounded like me mumbling to myself in the background going, is that, hello? Yeah. So it might be fine. And head.
Damn it.
There you go. And wings or something. And he doesn't actually have guns on his arms because they were too cheap to mold them. And I think that's about it. Anything to add?
Shut up.
Oh.
No, it's probably going to increase what?
Everything's fine here. How are you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
I can hear you both again. Woohoo.
Okay, good. All right. Well, that has kind of sucked. Really quick, I don't like Starscream that well. Never really liked his character. I liked him in G1. I liked him throughout all the cartoon continuity for the most part. I am one of the only people that are glad that he dies every single time.
Ah!
Yeah.
Our Tony's
going to come back as a ghost.
Nuts. There you go.
Yeah, but still, anyway, I like it when Starscream has stuff happen to him, especially when Prowl pretty much sucked the life spark, the Allspark fragment out of his head in animated. Anyway, so I got the Mighty Mug Starscream. First of all, only complaint about this figure, they painted the symbols on wrong. In the Hasbro, not concept art, but like official photos, it shows him with his wings attached down, and the symbols are upright, but he is supposed to have his wings pointing up, and the symbols are upside down. Now, there really isn't, unless you decide to deform your Mighty Mugs and put a sticker on there, there really isn't any way to change it because it's painted on, unless you're one of these, sculpted, skilled people who can do redecos, which I am not. The wings do attach. As Michael said while we were having our audio issues, the null rays are painted onto his arm.
And my face is a sticker.
This is a sticker. What?
His null rays are painted on, and his face is a sticker.
His face is not a sticker.
Yeah, that's another one of those ongoing jokes.
Okay,
His face
well, I
being a sticker.
must have missed that because
No,
it doesn't look like a sticker. I'm sitting here scratching it and nothing is coming off. So yeah, it's not a sticker.
don't scratch it too hard. You'll pop his giant balloon head.
I don't understand why you hate Mighty Mugs. You know what? Really, honestly, when I get my Wave 3, I may just send you the movie Optimus and movie Bumblebee. I'll charge you for shipping, but I'll send them to you regardless.
I don't want them.
Anyway,
I might get the Jazz though.
Yeah, the
I
Jazz-
will compromise with you there.
you got to get the Shockwave too. The Shockwave is awesome. Anyway, back to Starscream.
Yes.
One of the things, the Mighty Mugs continually surprise me. I was surprised on the Cobra Commander one that he came with a detachable cape. But what surprises me on the Starscream one is how detailed what kind of depth they put into his chest. Like the two black pieces, which I guess are in his alt mode, are supposed to be his landing gear. They look like, I mean, they're very defined, and then of course he's got the cockpit with the Decepticon logo on it. Main colors are dark navy blue, light blue, light green, red and black, and silver around his waist. He does have the smirk on his face. It's actually very funny. He has the smirk, and Megatron has the frown. I had to bring Megatron out off the shelf because it's Megatron and Starscream, so it's actually very funny. I took a picture the other day. My intent was for it to look like they were cutting a WWE promo where they were pretty much faced, like nose to nose, face to face, kind of like something Triple H would do to Batista or something like that.
He knows the names.
And shut up. Shut up. And I took a picture of it, put it on Twitter and Facebook, and a few people on Twitter said, "Oh my god, it looks like they're kissing." Like, no, they're not fucking kissing.
Not what you were going for.
Yeah, people just totally didn't understand that.
That's wrong. So.
The wings are a rubbery plastic, so they do kind of bend a little bit. Again, they are detachable. Since I've had them in, I'm going to leave them in because that's what Starscream should look like. I don't think we should take his wings away from him.
He'd be very sad.
Yeah, sad Starscream panda. So overall, great figure. I think if you're one of those G1 collectors, or if you like G1 shelf displays or figures for display only, that's what the Mighty Mugs are for. Really, they're not really for play. They don't transform, obviously. And, for me, I'm just so glad that I have all these Transformers ones. And as I've said before, I've started branching out into other Mighty Mugs. Like, I have a Cobra Commander one. I'm probably going to end up getting a Human Torch and a Ghost Rider one from the Marvel series. I like them. They're just great. Hey, kids, it's Mikey, and he likes it.
Hey.
Hey, that's a life. No, I was talking about myself. That's a Life cereal promo there.
I was gonna say I don't like it.
Well,
Actually, I think they kind of skimped a little bit on the paint.
on Starscream, how?
Yeah, well, I got them up on the screen here. I'm looking at them, and I dig it how they have his feet painted. Because if you look at the actual G1 Starscream figure, the way that his feet fold out, you can see where the shadows are. They kind of show the feet coming out, and then the knees, and those look just like the G1 version. But there's a lot of other detail that they're skipping on.
Such as,
things like the G1 Seekers, their hands popped off and popped back on, and the way they kind of get away with that is they look like gloves, so that the sides kind of look like gloves that come over the arms. Whereas here, they kind of dance around that issue by making his arms blue all the way up to the bicep, and then giving him kind of mechanical fingers.
Yeah, I can see your point on that, but I think that they were going for more cartoon accuracy than toy accuracy when they're doing these things.
Yeah, again, the way the feet and the knees are painted. I don't so much remember the cartoon having the feet and the knees like that.
Yeah.
Whereas the figure, looks just like that.
Well, no, he did. He had the blue feet, or the. He did have two different shades. I'll take a screen cap later and I'll email it to you about the cartoon. But anyway,
put it up on the site. Take a look at it. But
yeah,
he had also stickers on his chest, stickers down on his waist level that that they're not really showing here. I don't know. I think that they did a really good job with Optimus Prime and Megatron to kind of bring out all the detail that you would see, not just in the cartoon, but on the figure itself.
Yeah.
And with this one, I just feel like they skimped a little.
Well, there is a lot of room on the Starscream figure, whether it's the toy or the cartoon model, to really put additional. I've got Megatron here, and he's got the on the back of him. He's got the I showed it to you on video last time.
With the gun.
On the back, yeah, he's got the gun barrel painted on his back, and it, Starscream, again, the two main things that I noticed, obviously, was the cockpit with the symbol. I thought that was really cool, and then these two black pieces, which I guess are supposed to signify that that's where he hides his landing gear or something. I don't know.
The air intakes?
Yeah, it's the engine intake.
Yeah, the engine intake.
And on some figures, it's where the missiles pop out.
Yeah. The null rays being painted on, I like. I don't mind the fact that he doesn't have a weapon with him, unlike some of the other. I think the only ones out of the entire TF Mighty Mugs line that do not have weapons: Starscream, Bumblebee, and
Shockwave? That's kind of.
No, you can't. No. Shockwave has the gun attached to his arm.
Yeah.
What about Jazz?
What about what?
Jazz?
Jazz has a gun.
No, Jazz has a gun. So I think Starscream and Bumblebee are the only two out of the entire Mighty Mugs TF line that don't have weapons. And honestly, I don't mind it because...
He's got wings.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got wings, but, how can you not have a Starscream figure that doesn't have, something similar to the cartoon that would make him look like the cartoon or the original toy model? So you would have to include wings either in the on the. See, I think that's the difference, Michael Wilson, where there's not enough paint, there's not a lot of detail. The reason being is they put the detail in these separated wings, whereas on the Megatron figure you have all this paint detail on the back of him instead of having it separate as a separate piece.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand the whole concept of, you have to choose where you put your paint applications. You have to choose where you spend the money for the extra plastic, for the accessories. That all has to balance out along with how much money you're spending on packaging, so that, when you make 10,000 of them and you sell them all at a certain price, you're going to make money. So I see that, but at the same time, it's like, well, could have been that much better. I still wouldn't buy one. As much as I love Starscream, I probably wouldn't buy one for myself.
I don't think I would pick one up, except for maybe the fact that I've seen the videos that people have done with him, like Gog Dog has done with.
Yeah, the Gog Dog videos are funny as hell.
But I don't think I could see myself picking it up for $20.
Oh, they're $20?
Isn't that how much they are?
No, the one on BBTS, the individual one was sold out. All the ones on BBTS that I've seen that aren't part of a case, part of 4, all the individual ones range from $9 to $17.99. I know if you buy Shockwave and Jazz individually on BBTS, they're $17.99 a piece.
Well, how much do they normally retail in stores? I thought they were.
I don't know because I've never seen them in stores.
I think they're $12 at Target.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might
Which
have
isn't
seen it
bad,
at,
though.
Or $12.99.
Like comics or something.
Yeah, but I mean that's not bad. I mean, gross in total, just because I'm an impatient bastard. For
You're
for
honest
all.
about it.
Oh, of course. That's what the listeners like is honesty.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, if you wait 3 months, it's going to be in the stores. If you wait another 3 months,
It'll be clearance.
it's going to be in a clearance bin, and you're going to get it for $5. So
Yes, well, we're not all like you who can steal Transformers from Target. Anyway, I think I've spent in total on all 3 waves, I've probably spent over, I've spent $200.
yeah, I don't think the goal is to spend more money.
No, I understand that, but alright, okay, first of
I
all,
thought the
wave...
goal was he who has the most toys wins.
There you go. There you go.
I win.
Shut up.
I think Proto Man might win, actually.
Well, yeah, Proto Man would win, but you'd come in a close second.
Yeah.
I came in late to the Mighty Mugs. I didn't come into them, I didn't start getting into them and liking them until... I don't even know what got me started liking them. I have no idea. And I just happened to go on eBay one day, and I thought for all 4 of the Wave 1, Megatron, Optimus, Soundwave, and Bumblebee, I thought $60 plus free shipping was a good deal. The only way I could get Starscream at a decent enough deal was to get him in the case with the Optimus, Grimlock, and Bumblebee. I paid, outside of shipping, I paid $40, and then... the problem with the Wave 3 figures is they're Toys R Us exclusives in stores. So, because the nearest Toys R Us is like on the other side of my town, and I don't drive, getting them on that eBay auction for $91, which again they're coming from overseas, so that's why they're that expensive. I don't mind it. So, I mean, $200 for 8 figures, it sounds kind of crazy, but I'm sure people have paid a lot more for 1 figure than just 8.
One Mighty Mug figure?
No, one Transformers figure in general. No, not 1 Mighty Mug figure, 1 Transformers figure in general.
I got a bridge in
That's the
Brooklyn.
lucky
I'd like
draw.
to sell it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Just let me get the gold spray paint out. We can fix that real quick.
Alright, so anyways, I think we're done with the toy discussion. I think we're going to go into a break, and then we will come back with the outro.
The Autobots would have lost eons ago if I'd been calling the shots. My time will come, Megatron.
Thanksgiving is just 1 week away, and Christmas is right around the corner. Are you looking for a gift for family members and friends that is slightly not the average gift? Well, look no further. I am TFG1Mike from the GeekCast Radio Network, and besides podcasting, I am also a published author of poetry. I have 3 books of poetry published and 1 for sale right now. It is The Twists of Faith and Fate. This is an 85-page softcover book. It comes signed and only costs $20 per copy. I have 20 or more copies available. For more details, email me at tfg1podcast@gmail.com.
There once was a boy, an albino I'm told, who possessed the power of pen pusher gold. He had many stories, all short and exciting, but nobody knew, and so he began writing. He sat there all summer and skillfully sought to perfectly ponder and polish each plot. The settings were set, all the characters cast, his fingers were flying and flailing so fast, and soon the young man with the snowy complexion quickly concocted the caffeine collection. He smiled, satisfied with his clever creation. Oh, the things that did pour from his imagination. Stories of pirates and future police, of devils and bullies, and a twist press release. Fantasy, mystery, both are included. Comedy, action, no genre excluded. You say to yourself, it's too good to be true, but author Steve Saylor would not lie to you. An audiobook so you don't have to read. And hey, $15 is all that you need.
From the author of the podcast novel Black Shadow, Steve Saylor presents The Caffeine Collection, a dynamic audiobook collection of short stories presented by ringtonefeeder.com and stevesaylor.net. Steve presents a genre mashup of multiple stories for your ears.
I have to be on caffeine to write all this.
Steve Saylor presents the Caffeine Collection, on sale October 28th, 2009.
So mark this date down so you will not forget. For more information, stevesaylor.net.
The TFG1 podcast has 24 action-packed discussion episodes on the original Transformers cartoon. So if you're a fan of the 80s cartoon, we have all you need and more, as well as an interview with Stan Bush. You can find us on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Tune in. It's going to be a new year, a new decade, a new Transformers review podcast from the guys that brought you the TFG1 podcast and all things Transformers. Coming January 2010, The Beast Unleashed podcast. It will feature 22 action-packed episodes reviewing both Beast Wars and Beast Machines. You can find it at www.geekcastradio.com and on iTunes. It will feature the voice talents of TFG1 Mike, Steve Megatron, and PecanCtMichael, so unleash the beast within you. Transformers ToyCast has been transformed into just ToyCast. For the past 25 episodes, we have talked about just Transformers toys. Now, starting with the 26th episode, which is currently out, we are expanding into all toy collections. You can find us on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Transform and transcend. Do you like reminiscing on the cartoons of old? Well, look no further. ToonCast is dedicated to the cartoons you grew up with. From the 50s to the 90s, all manner of classic cartoons will be discussed. We even had the chance to interview Lion-O, Lord of the Thundercats. Yes, that's right, Larry Kenny. You can find us on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com.
All right, well, that's it for this episode of ToyCast. I'd like to thank PecanCtMichael for joining me as always, and the return of Lupis Convoy from TFW.
Thanks for having me back.
Yes, of course. Anytime. Honestly, anytime anybody who collects any, podcasts for me are an evolving thing. So we're not just talking about Transformers anymore. We can talk about pretty much any toy line, even though the majority of the stuff that I talk about is going to be Transformers, because that's what I'm kind of limiting my obsession and my funds to. Kind of like Mr. Wilson over there. His wife said you can have one collection, but that's it.
That was the line in the sand. Don't cheapen the experience there, Blanchard.
So yeah, we've opened it up to all toy lines. If anybody wants to come on, they're more than welcome to. You can send me an email at tfg1podcast@gmail.com. Coming up from Geekcast Radio, we have, as I said in the intro or the general chatter or whenever I said it in this episode, Michael, myself, and Steve Megatron will be starting the Beast Unleashed podcast. Will be a review series on Beast Wars and Beast Machines. The actual review episodes won't start until January 2010, but the episode 0 and the interview that Steve and I did with David K. will be up this Saturday, December 12th. So yeah, what's you got anything project-wise you're doing, Lupis?
After I get out of this semester, I am looking at picking up another novel and either finishing it off or starting an old short story and converting it to a novella.
Oh, okay, cool. Yes, and you and I will eventually, as soon as I get the Justice League DVD set, you and I will be doing the Secret Origins podcast. Yes.
I'm psyched.
Yes, we will. I'm going to try to launch that February, but I don't know. It just depends on what Santa brings me for Christmas.
More Mighty Mugs?
No, I'm done with the Mighty Mugs. Unless somebody else buys me other ones, I'm done with the Transformers ones. I have them all.
I never said it had to be Transformers.
That's true, too. Oh, no. Yeah, I've got the Justice League Complete Series set on my list for Christmas. So we'll hopefully be starting that in February. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So I think we're going to go into the closing. Thank you for joining us here on ToyCast. There are several ways to get in contact with us to leave feedback for the show. First is you can visit www.geekcastradio.com. Find all the other podcasts there. The second is you can stop by PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Those are our new forums. The third is you can leave the show feedback on iTunes. Yes, please do this. We greatly appreciate it. The fourth is you can visit another great geek culture website, www.earth-2.net. You can find our threads in their self-promotion section of their forums. And the fifth is the email address, which is tftoycast@gmail.com. We now have a voicemail line. Call us and leave us your thoughts on each episode. Be sure to say which show you're leaving the message for and your name. The number is 502-526-5821. You can follow us on Twitter. The show name there is TFToycast. Mine is TFG1Mike. And Lupus, what is your Twitter?
It's CAMINITISTYLE.
Yes.
Kennedy style.
Yes. And Michael, what is your Mr. Wilson, what is yours?
It's not Mickey Mouse.
Yes, it is. It's a running joke. Just say it.
PecanCtMichael, PecanCtMichael.
MLUSE.
Mickey Mouse.
We hope you. No. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToyCast and wish you'll join us next time. Be sure to visit our new sponsor, www.bigbadtoystore.com, for all your Transformers and other toy needs and more. For now, I am TFG1Mike with PecanCtMichael and Lupis Convoy from the TFW podcast, saying the immortal words of Optimus Prime, transform and roll out, and thank you for listening. Be sure to visit TFW2005.com.